For way too many of us, thinking is overthinking. Hey, my friends. Um, so often, when it comes time for us to express our thoughts, we spend too much time inside our own heads. And a lot of us talk ourselves out of self expression, whether it's for fear of saying the wrong thing, for fear of being judged and found lacking. Have you ever noticed no one feels like they're going to be judged and found to be superior? Or very few people ever seem to. So we get inside ourselves and we keep ourselves from saying anything. A lot of this is a learned response from our childhood. When we were kids, we would say whatever came into our heads. We would, kids say the darndest things, as the old TV show used to talk about, because, yeah, I'm that old. Kids just natter. Kids just say things. Something shows up in their head and they express themselves. But in a lot of cases, as we mature, as we get older, as we begin to be seen to be teens and adults and what have you, we learn to sort of hold some of that back. We learn that within the social norms, we should not be aggressively expressing the first thought that enters our head. And there are cliches, there are jokes, there are memes about this, about, somebody asks you a question and you go to that Star Wars meme of, it's a trap. The problem, and that's fine. It would be a troublesome world if everyone expressed everything that occurred in their head as it occurred to them. But at the same time, I worry for a lot of us, we've overcorrected. We overthink the implications of our statements. We overthink the implications of our thoughts, of our self-expressions, of our arts, of our creativity, of our craft. We don't want to raise our hands at a meeting when we hear something that's maybe a bit problematic or hasn't been fully thought through. And that's unfortunate, right? I think this is part of the challenge when I'm teaching screenwriting or whatever it is, or a workshop I'm giving, that my students are afraid to put words down on paper because they're worried about how I'm going to look at them. They're worried about how their classmates are going to look at them. And that holds them back. They've signed up for these classes ostensibly to express themselves because they have this urge, this desire to express this thing that is inside them. But they hold themselves back out of fear. And, I recognize I can only do so much as an instructor to make the students feel comfortable, to let people know they can express themselves. And I will do my best to hold judgment in a valuing the individual, but may have an opinion on their opinion or an opinion on their creative expression. In fact, that's actually why they've hired me, is to offer opinions and to help them hone their voice, to craft their voice, to craft their story. And I adore doing that. And I am fortunate most of my students trust me. And I am honored by that, and I'm very respectful of that. But this idea that thinking leads to overthinking, the problem being overthinking leads to lack of communications. We don't express ourselves. We don't say what needs to be said. And it's not just in a fictional sense. It's not just about writing stories. It's not just about expressing ideas. It gets to the heart of who we are as people. Because humans in all forms communicate through storytelling. A grocery list is a story, if you will, of what's happened before and what you're hoping for the coming week, if you grocery shop weekly, as I do. All communications between people is storytelling. Written, oral, physical, whatever you want to call it. And so this is where what I want to do now, coming in January, is give this workshop that I call Out of Our Minds and Onto the Page. I've talked about it in previous videos. For 5 Saturdays, January 10 to February 7, I'm welcoming intrepid individuals who are willing to play and just screw around and goof around and have fun, play games, spontaneously write. The idea being that with zero pressure to perform, people just have a safe environment in which to express themselves. And hopefully that breeds a greater desire to express themselves further in subsequent endeavors in life, whether that's something with me or it's just generally in their own personal lives. It's important to me, as you've witnessed with these videos, that people feel they are allowed to say what they think. They are allowed to be who they are. They are allowed to ask for community and to be welcomed by community. And if I can be part of that, I will be honored. And so that's my mission, is to create these communities, to create this environment, to encourage people to express themselves and share freely. So if this sounds like something that you might be interested in, this is happening in Toronto at the Sweet Action Theatre. This is a live in-person thing. So if you're well beyond the travel to Toronto, then who knows? Let me know anyways, and maybe this could be a traveling thing. Maybe this could be something I can give in other cities. But at least initially, January 10 to February 7, 5 weeks of improv games, of writing exercises, of conversation, of just freewheeling thoughts and play and joy and self-expression and creativity and art and craft and wordsmithing, all of these things. I'll put information about the course. I'll put some links in the workshop, put some links around this video and on my social media feeds. And I'm also, as I believe I mentioned recently, I'm going to be teaching the screenwriting course at George Brown College, which is about to become George Brown Polytechnic, again in January. I think the middle of January onwards. But again, I'll put the information around if you're interested in screenwriting, where I try to apply a lot of the same principles, but less chaotic improv exercises in my screenwriting class. There's no thinking, there's no preparation, and for the workshop, there's no homework. This is about coming to the Sweet Action Theatre for 2 hours every Saturday for 5 weeks, and just walking in open as you can be, goofing around for 2 hours, and hopefully walking out at the end of that 2 hours feeling more confident just generally about expressing yourself, about sharing what's going on inside your head, whatever the purpose of it might be, including no purpose at all. This could just be a recreational 2 hours. It's up to you. It's what you want out of it. We're all going to be doing this in an environment that's safe. It's at least as safe as we can make it. So again, I'll put the information around the video. Please like and share the video with anyone you think might find this kind of workshop or just this mission of mine useful or entertaining or whatever. And subscribe to the video series if you haven't already, and go back and watch some of the older videos just to see what this crazy man is trying to accomplish. And yeah, let's talk. If you have fears about expressing yourself, what are they? Feel free to express in the comments here or on the social media channels. Let's have a conversation and come out and play. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have a good time. I'm pretty confident everybody else is going to have a good time. And who knows? This may lead to the next great adventure in your life. It's worth the shot. In any event, take care. Have a great weekend. Have a fantastic week and month ahead. Happy Thanksgiving to my American friends as we approach that date. And stay in touch, because you know I will. Take care.